Welcome, everybody. For everyone that I've not met, my name is Melanie Brown. I'm the head of product here at Mobble. We are co-hosting this webinar today with Ruth Turner, who is Agworld's customer success specialist. So she'll be presenting on the fabulous Agworld platform today and having a sort of a look at how the integration with Mobble works from Agworld's perspective or from that side of things. All right, so just a little bit of context on what Mobble is. So Mobble is livestock farm management software. It was founded on the family farm of Jock Lawrence, our CEO, up in Avenel in northern Victoria, which is a multi-generational sheep farm. And at the time, back in 2016, I think, I'm pretty sure that sounds about right. They just didn't sort of have any options available on the market that really suited their enterprise for really simple and flexible farm management software for their livestock operation. So Jock founded Mobble on the family farm, and it's kind of grown from there. And usually he's here doing these webinars, but his wife is just about to pop out a second child, so he's excused himself, and I have the pleasure of being here as well. But usually you can catch him at these monthly webinars. So our whole reason for being is to provide a place for livestock and mixed farmers to manage their data, record keeping, animal health, mapping, and more. Mobble is mob-based farm and livestock management software that's simple and effective, giving you more time to get on with the parts of farming that you are passionate about. And Agworld, which I'll leave to Ruth to introduce, but it was our first integration at Mobble between Mobble and any other software. So we launched that a few years ago, and it's been a great success in bringing mixed farmers together and sharing data. Sort of stopping data from being siloed in one place and getting information flowing across where it needs to. And we've recently just updated that integration with a new feature around withholding periods, which we'll get into in a little bit. But that's sort of why we are focusing on that for the webinar today. So we might just get straight into a demonstration of Agworld. I'll hand over to you, Ruth.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Ruth, and I'm just one of the many customer success team here. So you're talking me up there a little bit, Melanie. But I have been here a little while. Personally, I actually come from a farming background myself, but in the UK. And I grew up with sheep, so it's something that when I first looked at Mobble, I thought, they could definitely use this in the UK. So maybe one day they'll invade England. But I can certainly see how it's going to be helpful for our growers in Agworld land because we have a lot of mixed farming operations in Agworld, and it was a challenge for them to find somewhere to deal with all their sheepy and cow problems and to be able to surface that in Agworld, especially in the context of what we're going to talk about today, which is withholding periods. Because as you're all probably well aware, well, maybe not. Agworld is more about recording what you're actually doing in your fields in terms of like what chemicals you're applying, fertilizer, and things like that. And as if you spray a paddock with certain chemicals, there is a danger to your sheep that they might go and eat something that might be giving them a bit of indigestion if they're lucky, and if they're very unlucky, they'll keel over. So you've got to be a bit careful with those sorts of things. And until we had this integration with Mobble, there was really no way for our growers to know where their sheep were. So even with the version 1, let's call it that, the version 1 Mobble integration, that gave a lot of value to Agworld growers in being able to see where their sheep actually were. So I'm just going to share my Agworld. So the first thing you need to know is that when you integrate Agworld and Mobble together, it's only on the iOS apps at this point in time. So you have to use the iPad or iPhone app with Agworld to see the Mobble integration. It's not available on our website. It's also not available on the Android app at this point in time. It's only on iOS. And once you've integrated the two products, you will see these little M's start appearing all over your map. And what those are, you could also see some of our other integration frames on here, but we won't worry about that. Let's scroll up to a pin we can see here. And we've got 1M here. So there is this paddock, Powell's Road North, and there are some sheep or some cows, I'm not sure which, in this field. So what I can do is tap on this on the app, and it will tell me some information. It'll tell me the area of the field, how many DSEs, the DSEs per hectare, how long it's been grazed, and what is actually in there right now is two Angus bulls, and they're safe, and they're 8 DSEs per head. So this has been around a long time, this part of the integration. What's new is something I'm about to show you, which is the withholding period thing. So what I'm going to do is, and hopefully this is going to work because I haven't tried this live. So let's find out if this is going to work. So we're going to record a job in this paddock called North Road, and I'm going to put a withholding period in it for grazing. So just bear with me. Let me just jump into here. So we're going to go into, so this is a bit of the Agworld side of how it works. I'm going to go into activities, and I might have a recommendation here that's come from my agronomist. I might not. I might just be recording an ad hoc job, something I just need to do. So I'm going to create a new actual just so that we get this in here. And we're just going to call this test withholding. All right, and we'll start it today and we'll complete it today. And we're going to grab a product here. So we add an input and we find, let's put in glyphosate just because I'm sure that's not very good for sheep. So grab a glyphosate, oh, that'll do. And we've got the withholding period. So we can click on the withholding periods here, and there are several withholding periods available in Agworld. The one, of course, that we're most interested in is the grazing withholding period. So we can tap on that and we can set that to 2 days and click on done and then go back, then go done, and then go next. And then it says, you forgot to do a rate. So sometimes people will make an error. Most of the time, Agworld will pick up your errors and fix that for you. So I forgot to enter a rate, which is, I just wanted to show you what the error message does if you do forget. So put that in there. Done. It's easy. And there's also other error messages that can pop out sometimes if you forget things, but it does try and help you if you forget
It
something.
really does. Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
great. I've been doing a lot of testing of the integration, and the error messages for someone who doesn't know how to use the platform have been excellent.
Pretty helpful, yeah. We have
Very
fixed up
helpful.
most of them because people are like, why did this break? And what have I done
Yeah.
wrong? And how do I fix this? And sometimes it's not obvious. So we've tried to add more error messages into to the product. And here's where we're going to send that. Now I'm going to submit it, and then close. Now, normally the syncing between the system is automatic, but we want to kick that off now. So I'm just going to press that sync, and sync is now complete. It just takes a couple of minutes to sync the data. By default, Agworld will sync periodically, but you can always force it if you need it to happen right away. Now, this,
The safe date that you're looking at in Agworld is actually the withholding period of the mob in Mobble. So when you apply a treatment to a mob or to your livestock in Mobble, that automatically pushes that
yep,
withholding period or safe date across to Agworld.
right.
And then so the new part of the integration is that when you add an actual
Ah.
into Agworld, you should be able to then see that withholding on the paddock in Mobble itself.
Well,
So
why
yeah,
don't
I can
we
show
have a
you
look
that
and
bit
see?
a little bit
Yep,
later.
go for it. Yeah, yeah, well, get you to show that bit. So that's basically the
Yeah,
new part. You have to just enter that in Make sure you enter it. People have obviously been entering it for some time, but it wasn't going anywhere. It was just twiddling its thumbs in and doing not much in Agworld other than changing the color of the paddock boundary to show you that there was a withholding on there, so that you didn't accidentally. So you would go, stop, wait, hang on a minute. There's something funny going on here. What do I need to take a note of? I'm not sure if that one's going to show up, but you can see those in here by going into field view, insights, and then withholding periods. So there it says shows one with and it shows you which field has the withholding on it and when it expires. So that's out of the box in Agworld. You can quickly see which fields have got withholdings on them, but it doesn't always tell you an awful lot about it. So it says it's a grazing withholding, but it doesn't tell you what chemical it is. So you have to go back to the field and have a look at which applications that you've got on there and see what might be causing you to, hey, wait a minute, you shouldn't graze this until the 7th of May. All right. That's pretty much all I have to show you Agworld wise.
That's great. Thank you, Ruth. Yeah, that was got a lot of insight into adding actuals into Agworld incidentally along the way. So yeah, it's a really fantastic comprehensive cropping or record keeping for all of your fields, including pastures and cropping. Um, I will just show you how that works from the Mobble perspective and then also give you just a very general demonstration of Mobble just in case anyone's on here and is fresh and wants to have a look at the platform. Here we have the Mobble map, which is primarily where people operate from in Mobble. So Mobble is available on web and on mobile, and that software works essentially the same way across both platforms. It works online and offline. So we have offline mode if you are anywhere that's out of service. You can still create records in Mobble. And this map is very similar to the Agworld map. So you've got your paddocks mapped in here. And if you are a user of both Agworld and Mobble, you can import your paddocks from Agworld into Mobble and vice versa. So you don't have to remap your whole farm if you're adding on to another platform. But these paddocks here with the red outlines on them are paddocks that are in withholding, and that withholding has come from Agworld. So if I click on one and then go, I can see it's in withhold here as well. And then if I go into paddock info, I can see that this withholding period in particular has come across from Agworld, and there's 7 days remaining for it to be in withholding. And then the date that it comes out of withholding is there as well. So you can add withholds to paddocks in Mobble, but generally people who are using both platforms do all of their paddock or field records in Agworld because that's where they're already doing a lot of that in terms of the cropping side. So it makes sense to do grazing treatments there as well. And historically, that information, which is only really relevant to the livestock management, hasn't been available sort of within Mobble, but now it comes through as soon as it's applied. So a couple of other features that are handy. If I try and move a mob into that paddock with a withholding period, it'll give me a nice warning to tell me, don't do that. That's probably not safe for your sheep. There's glyphosate that's going to make them feel a bit sick. So just in case anyone's not paying attention. And yeah, there's also a paddocks list here and so if you prefer to operate via a list rather than the map, you can still see the withholding periods in the list here, just by these red dots, and those look the same on the paddock cards on the mobile app as well. So just if you're new to Mobble and would like a really brief overview of how it operates, primarily I'm going to focus on livestock record keeping because that's what you'll be doing if you're also using Agworld. Generally, what you want to record for livestock is mob movements, and that's really easy to do in Mobble. You can just click and drag the mob pins to move them into a new paddock. Or if you're doing something a bit more sophisticated, like splitting a mob, you just jump into this advanced split movement option, and then you can split some of them off. There you go. Other things that you probably want to be doing on a daily basis is recording actions that have happened on a mob. So something like drenches, vaccinations, mob treatments, anything that sort of happened in the day-to-day life of your livestock. And those are the records that flow through into Agworld, into that withholding period that Ruth showed you there, so that, yeah, you're aware in Agworld if a mob is in withholding, just in case anyone is looking for the records there on the cropping side. So how you do that is you just select a mob and add a mob action. And here there's default lists of the kinds of actions that you might want to add, but also all of the lists in Mobble are completely customizable. So you can always add new action types into a list if you want to record something. You can add products onto mobs. So we've got a full inventory for animal health within the Mobble platform. So that's where your drenches and vaccines would sit within that animal health inventory. We do also have a couple of other inventories, but generally we find for users of both Agworld and Mobble, the preference is to record all of your paddock treatments, as we said, in Agworld. So you sort of manage the inventory of paddock treatments within that platform, and then just animal health products are kept within Mobble. All of those records are then kept as an event history on your mob. So if I click through and into viewing this mob, I've got an event history here of everything that has ever happened to this mob here on the right. so you can see where it's been moved, if it's been split from other mobs, if any actions have occurred like vaccinations or feedings. And that same information is available in a mob action summary down the bottom. So if you want a full report of all of the treatments or products that have been added to your mob over time, they're going to be here in mob actions. And that summary is, you can filter it by action type. So if you just want to know what's going on with feeding, you can do it that way, or you can also use the search for key terms. And both of those are also available on all of the lists in Mobble. So if you want a record of pretty much anything, you're always able to filter it down or search it to get it to show you the records that you're looking for. So these mob action summaries are available on each and every individual mob, but then also in the summary section, you can get a summary of mob actions across the whole property for all of your mobs. And again, you can filter that. If you want to report on drenches, for example, you would go through and filter that to keep up to date on all of your drench records. Also in summaries, you can grab that same information on all of the key other actions that you would apply to a mob. So if you're selling livestock, that all goes into a sales record here. Everything that's happened over time in terms of natural increases, casualties, and purchases. And then the other really handy one that's available here on the web and is most often used on mobile is this livestock numbers summary. So this is a quick overview of your numbers broken down by breed, gender, class, and then age group. And you can look at that for an individual property, or you can go up here and select multiple properties to add into that numbers summary if you want a quick overview. If you're looking for more detailed livestock numbers, you would jump into this report section where we have a livestock reconciliation report that's a bit more granular in terms of changes in livestock numbers over time. And this is customizable by date range. So if you want to know what's happened to your livestock numbers last financial year, for example, you can just select that from the drop down and then see that both in a table form, which can be exported and sent off to your accountant if you need to, or also you can view that graphically if you're sort of looking at analysing the performance of your property over time. This same information is also available on every paddock. So similar to the mobs, every paddock has its own information page where it's got an event history of all of the things that have happened in that paddock. Same graph of historic livestock numbers over time is available on the paddock. So you can start to look at out in the field, if you're noticing some changes in the condition of a paddock, you can go and check the stocking rate over time and start to put together pieces of data about what might be causing the condition in that paddock. In terms of grazing management, we've also got days grazed and days rested counters on each paddock. So you're able to jump into a paddock either via the map or via this info page and see how long that paddock's been grazed or rested for. And then, if you want to look at that in a list format and sort by days grazed as well, you can do it via that paddocks page. A couple of other things that might be relevant just in this context is Mobble has a task management system, so you can assign any tasks on the property that need to be completed to anyone else who's a team member within Mobble, and they'll get a notification on the day that that task is due. We also have recently added features for uploading files and images across the platform. So when you're creating any of these records, whether it's sales, purchases, casualties, mob actions, paddock actions, tasks, anything basically that might be useful to include a document with it. You can upload a document when you're doing that record. So, your NVDs for sales, for example, is probably the most commonly used use case for that one. And then if you can't remember where that file is that you uploaded, we've got a file search where you can find everything that you've uploaded to the property a little bit more easily. And then also a section for general property files, so things that aren't linked to a specific part of Mobble but are useful for other people in the operation to see. They can go in and have easy access to that documentation here. So that's about it for Mobble. I'll just jump back to the map so you can see what's going on in terms of the integration. And maybe just to recap, the main part of the Agworld integration is that we push information about these mobs over to the Agworld map so that you can get quick and easy info in Agworld of what livestock are on the property, where they are, how long they've been in that paddock within Agworld and also whether they're in withholding. And then what we've just built out is pulling the withholding period information from Agworld for grazing withholds into Mobble. So that, yeah, if you've got people on the cropping side or on the Agworld side applying chemicals to your paddocks that are relevant to your livestock, then your livestock people have access to that information where they need it. All right.
The only thing I
Uh,
would su The only thing I would suggest that is if you are using, if you've got people who are using just Mobble and just Agworld, that the livestock people need to clearly ex tell their friends over in Agworld land to remember to enter those grazing withholdings because some people
yes.
are not very good at doing that. So if that is critical information for our friends in livestock land, then make sure you communicate that with your cropping guys, so that you're getting that data if you're not looking at the AgWorld app as well, so that you're seeing that data in Mobble itself. That's all I would sort of make sure you're clear on because it's not going to happen automatically. Those grazing withholding is going to require someone to pull their finger out and actually record it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's the same in Mobile. Yeah, you can record your withholdings on any applications to your mobs, but you've got to remember to do that in order to have that data available. So, yeah, we hear all the time on the phones that both platforms are excellent, but they're only as valuable as what you put into it. So, yeah, that's a good example of that. Well, it's been very lovely to spend a few minutes with you, Ruth. Thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time. And thanks to everyone who attended. And yeah, if you want to sign up for a trial of Mobble or Agworld, you are more than welcome to do that. There's easy buttons on both of our websites to be able to do that. And the full integration is available within the trial. So you'll be able to get started straight away, seeing how the two platforms work together. And if you've got map um, files from any other platform, you are more than welcome to upload them. So just save yourself some time and then you can pull them straight across from AgWorld into Mobble or vice versa. So it does save a bit of time in the setup there. No worries. Well, yeah, thanks for your time, everybody, and we'll see you out there.